guys, Lady Rochelle here, author and founder of Warriors Talk, where we move away from awareness towards action. This is 31 Days of Breast Cancer Awareness Facts in the month of October in recognition of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And we are on day 26. So I'm so excited about that. And tonight we're going to talk about sharing your testimony. And we're going to talk about the benefits of sharing your testimony. And a lot of times when individuals are going through, they may not want to speak up about what they're going through. They may not want to share their stories with others, but sharing your story or your testimony with others can improve your overall well-being. So don't be afraid to share your testimony in your due time. Also, many people find solace in sharing their testimony with other individuals. So don't be afraid to let someone else know what you're going through. You just might bless them. So here we are on day 26 of the 31 Days of Breast Cancer Awareness Facts. So we're going to talk about 7 benefits of sharing your cancer testimony, or as I like to say, your cancer journey. So the first one would be you don't feel alone. So when you tell your story to someone else, normally you find somebody else may have been through the same thing, or they know somebody who has been through the same thing. So sharing your testimony would allow you to not feel alone, not feel like you're the only one that's going through this horrific ordeal of cancer. There may be somebody else out there that went through the same thing, and as soon as you open your mouth and say, hey, this is what I've been through, then guess what? Somebody else comes and say, hey, I've been through the same thing. So sharing your testimony makes you feel that you are not in this thing by yourself. And the second reason why you should share your testimony is because it promotes connections. You would be surprised of the people that you will connect with. Going through this cancer journey, I have connected with so many beautiful individuals who have been through the same thing that I have, or they know somebody who has been through the same thing. So it promotes connections, whether it be another survivor, whether it be an organization, or whether, you're talking to family members, giving them advice on what you've been through. So sharing your testimony will help you promote connections between you and other individuals. The third reason why you should share your testimony is it gives other people encouragement. Going through a horrific ordeal like cancer, you do sometimes feel alone. You feel alone, you feel fear, and sharing your testimony will give somebody else who just got the news or who is already in their battle some encouragement. So make sure that you are sharing your testimony, because you never know who you're going to bless with that testimony. You never know what type of day they had, month they had, or year they have had dealing with cancer. So sharing your testimony with them could be, just the pick-me-up that they need in their life. So the fourth thing that you can do in sharing your testimony is it's a source of healing for you. Every time that I share my testimony, it makes me feel so good. It like something just releases in me, and it feels like I just get stronger and stronger every time I tell my testimony. And whenever you tell it and you get feedback from people, and how it blessed them and how they enjoyed it and how they shared it with somebody else, that's a source of healing for you. Every time that you are strong enough to talk about what it was that tried to wipe you out, what it was that tried to steal your joy, and what it was that tried to take your life, that's a source of healing for you. So the fifth thing that you can do, or the fifth benefit of sharing your testimony, is that you become a resource for others. Now they talk to you, so now they're going to share with somebody else. The next time somebody else goes through, they're going to share with somebody else, and those people may come back to you and ask you some questions, or say, hey, I heard your story from so-and-so, and then you start talking to them, and they may call you and ask you a couple of questions. So now you're a resource for people who are going through, and you probably didn't even think that, oh wow, this will come out of this cancer journey, that people will actually be, looking at you as a resource. But it happens. Trust me, it happens. Thank you, my Leah. I appreciate you. listening in. So we're talking about the 7 benefits of sharing your testimony. So we're on number 5, which is you becoming a resource. So you just never know who you might help, or again, who may be going through the same thing that you're going through. And you're sharing your testimony will help them to even just calm their fears going through the unknown. But when they hear your testimony, then they say, oh, okay, I can get through this. So number 6 is it removes the fear and gives courage. It does, because when you get that cancer diagnosis, the first thing you do is you fear, because you hear all the bad things about cancer, and you hear, that's all you hear is the bad things. So when someone is telling you the positive things that they've been through and the positive things that they got out of their cancer journey, it helps, gives you courage. It helps to remove the fear, and it helps you to push through what you have to do, because guess what? Somebody else has went through it. I have encountered an overcomer, and now I know if this person got through it, then I can get through it too. So you need that encouragement to eliminate that fear. Do not allow fear to paralyze you and to have you at a standstill to where you're not taking action and doing what you're supposed to do for your life. So number 7 is you're supposed to be. This is what we're supposed to be when we're going through a journey. The one thing that we're supposed to be doing is we're supposed to be sharing our testimony with other people to give them hope. And that's really the reason for sharing, is to give other people hope. The people that's coming behind you, that's going to be going through this, then you need to be letting them know exactly what it is that you went through, so that they know that they can get through it too. I remember when I was going through, I was looking for individuals who went through it. I wanted to know who went through it, so that I know if I find people who went through it that was like years and years out of it, then I know that I can make it too. So that's what I was looking for when I went through. I was like, okay, how many years are you a survivor? And I was looking for people like that, just so it would give me courage and it would eliminate that fear that I had about going into a cancer diagnosis. So I would encourage you to, if you've been through it, then share your testimony. Share your testimony so that somebody else can know that they can overcome too. And this is a bonus, but it really should have been number 1, right? Your testimony glorifies God. It glorifies God. And that's who you want to be glorified. Not yourself, but you want to glorify God, because the only reason why you got through it is because God allowed you to get through it. He gave you the strength to get through it. He allows you to conquer it so that you can be around and you can share with other people how you made it over. You know that song, millions didn't make it, but I was one of the ones who did. And I'm grateful that I'm here to share my testimony and to share the wisdom that I have, the experience that I have, the ups, the downs, the goods, the bad, the scars. My scars are proof that I was in a battle with something that tried to take me out. And whatever it did, it didn't, because I'm still here. So never be afraid to share your testimony with someone. And the best thing that you can do is share it in your own time. Don't allow someone to rush you into sharing your testimony. A lot of people, when I was doing the show, when I first started doing the show, if somebody told me they had cancer, I'd be like, hey, you want to be on the show? And then some people would be like, yeah, I'm not ready to share. And when they said that, I was like, okay, why wouldn't they be ready to share? But you have to do it in your own time. And again, when you start sharing it, it's a healing that comes from sharing it. You'll start feeling stronger every time you share your testimony, and you're going to want to share it. You'll start volunteering to share your story because you want to tell of the goodness of God. You want somebody to know that God still heals. You want somebody to know that, guess what? I fought the adversary and I am still here. I'm still here. So don't be afraid to share your testimony. Don't be afraid to share of God's goodness, because if He did it for me, then He can do it for you. So join me tomorrow. We're going to be on day 27 of 31 Days of Breast Cancer Awareness Facts in the month of October, in recognition of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. This is author and founder Lady Rochelle of Warriors Talk, where we are changing lives one warrior at a time.